Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain world, On the Chain community? You guys know who you are. All those non-XRP holders out there, all those non-XRP supporters. I mean, XRP supporters and XRP holders and those crypto enthusiasts, Bitcoin maxis. You know who you are, the one Bitcoin maxi out there. XRP Evolution is moving into lending. You heard that here first, and maybe on a whole bunch of other crypto channels and publications, but there's some stuff going on in the DeFi. Trump's crypto vision is getting real, Chip. Mortgages with Bitcoin. You know it. Mortgages with Bitcoin. This thing is going to get real mainstream pretty fast once the regulatory clarity passes, because that XRP Evolution, it's getting real. Continuing trust, lending, and DeFi expansion on the XRPL. That's it.
No, it's not just Bitcoin. It's crypto.
It's crypto in general. It's not just the Bitcoin. It's crypto. U.S. is redefining their crypto policy. I'm a Bitcoin maxi. Chaos in New York City. Chip, we were just talking about that before we signed on here. It's showing that the system is really broken. Lack of trust. DC, all sorts of things going on, because we got to break it all down, and we're going to talk about a lot of it. We're going to workshop it. It's going to get exciting, whether you're in Australia, the US, somewhere over in Europe, or down in Latin America or Africa. It doesn't matter where you're at. It's going to get exciting. Going to get it entice.
Maybe you're on the moon. I don't know. Who knows?
Get enticing. We're on the moon over there on Mars.
Entice.
Entice.
Entice. Entice. You ready to,
we got a great song.
Ready to go? Are you ready? Let's go. By the way, we got another banger Yeti song tonight. You do not want to miss this one. This one is good. This one's another banger.
Chip, I have a special video for you too.
All right. I love that. Let's do it. Ready? Go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
I like to say welcome to everybody on the chain. Drop where you're coming in from. Let's do it. Let's bang the Yeti. I don't know what that means, but it sounds funny.
Bang the Yeti. Bang the Yeti.
The gong. Bang the gong. Bang the Yeti. Bang the gong. Bang the gong.
And the one listener all the way from Nebraska.
Nebraska. We got Braska in the house. Love to see that. We already have 6 entries for the Yeti. That's very promising, Jeff.
That's right.
It's very promising to have that.
XRP's in Michigan.
They're in Michigan. Oh,
they're melting. It was 97 there yesterday. Yeah. Tell you what, when I was there a couple of weeks ago, it was beautiful. Weather was great. It was like 50 when we got there, 60s in the morning. The one day it went up to like 80, and I said, I didn't come here for this weather. Way too hot.
Yeah, he came there for nice weather. It's like way too.
Came there for 50s.
Got hot Atlanta as well. Hot Atlanta and humid. Yeah, the humidity is what kills you, man. El Jefe's like, nice.
He's going to be in Michigan. Man, there's so many people in Michigan. You know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to do a meetup in Michigan. And we got to get that figured out. That'd be kick-ass.
Oh, Adrian Stormvarg is in the house. The OTC fan from London in the MF building. Gotta love that.
Stormvarg.
Adrian Stormvarg. I love it. Yeah. 40% of New York City is foreign born. Yeah, we're gonna go into that as well. I predicted. I said the best thing about New York City, the one thing you can count on, is they are on a streak of electing somebody worse than the previous mayor. They will take somebody, and just when you thought they went left, they go further left, and they get the next guy in there. But compared to this new dude, Eric Adams is starting to look semi-conservative. That's frightening. I mean, I don't know how that's possible, but here's a new development. You know, Jeff, when Trump got in the White House,
Indiana,
one of the cool things that, we talked about was pro-crypto, and we've got something brand new. So here's what that means. Here's the fallout from that. And you kind of teased in the beginning, but this is Pulte, and Pulte is he's the U.S. Director of Federal Housing, the FHFA. And he said, after a significant study and in keeping the President Trump's vision to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, Today, I ordered the great Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to prepare their businesses to count cryptocurrency
It
as
is
an
so.
asset for a mortgage. So if you guys don't know, Fannie and Freddie back probably 75% of the mortgages here in the United States, the majority of them. Fannie's a little bigger than Freddie Mac. In previous business roles, I have worked with both of them. I have been to DC. I've been to their headquarters in DC multiple times. I've also been to Texas. So I know both of them very well. And this is huge because that means when you're qualifying for a mortgage and you need to show your assets, now you can show your assets, which is your crypto. So if you're holding fart coin, put it down in your paper, man. It's like, I got fart coin, here it is right here. Whereas cryptocurrency is emerging asset class that may offer an opportunity to build wealth outside of the stock and bond markets, whereas cryptocurrency is not typically being considered in the mortgage risk assessment process for mortgage loans delivered to the enterprises without first converting crypto to US dollars before closing, whereas the US Federal Housing now has determined that the consideration of additional borrower assets in the enterprise's single-family mortgage loan risk assessment may enable enterprises to assess the full spectrum of asset information available. So this is a good thing. It's a huge opportunity, quite honestly, for when you think it's a turning point, because when you look at these institutions, this is like the bedrock of the backing, right, to guarantee the mortgage, that are backing most of the mortgages in America. This is a massive step. And it's so funny because it's outside of legislation, but it's weird because it's actually happening before legislation, which just goes to show you the change in guard, Jeff, on having a pro-crypto sort of president.
I like it. I think, when we talk about mainstream adoption, we've talked about banking, how slow banking is. We've talked about the length of time that it's going to take to get to a point where we have some normalcy, regulatory normalcy, so that we can get the mainstream adoption. It all started with this last election cycle. I still think we're probably looking at like 2026 for regulatory clarity. This is setting the tone. This is game changing. We see what's going to transition from this point is going to be tokenization of real estate asset, hard asset, not just real world, but real estate, mortgages, the tokenization of mortgages. This is just like the inkling. This is, like you said, you said they're the bedrock. This is the bedrock of mainstream adoption right here, which is how do you obtain recognition of a crypto asset? Well, count it as wealth. Count it as something that you can borrow, utilizing, saying, here's part of my net worth. Well, it's in crypto asset. So what if it's in Dogecoin or the SHIB? So what if I'm sitting on a stack of SHIB? What difference does it make? It's a crypto asset and there's money in it, has value, and there you go. So I think this is the beginning, and there's a lot of people that made lots of money in crypto that are just sitting on that wealth, and now they can go out and use that as at least an identifier to say, look, here you go. Here's where you've got the value. Then next step after this, legacy has to buy in. That's the big part of it. You have to get some form of legacy buy-in, and to get that chip, this is so not just symbolic, but it has to be recognized. So now that there's recognition in mainstream, in legacy mainstream, this is bedrock as old as it gets, right? I mean, this is the foundation. This is really good.
Oh, for sure.
Good news.
And if you look at this, Fannie and Freddie Mac currently have over $7.8 trillion in assets, to show you how actually big it is, right? So it just shows you the scope of what they do. Stuart Alderati, who is the general counsel over there, I don't know, is that his title anymore? He's the chief legal officer. He's not general counsel. He's chief legal officer and president of the National Crypto Association. And he's saying, wow, this is good news for the 55 Americans who own crypto. So you think 55 Americans out of the 350 Americans that reside in the US, pretty strong, Jeff. It's pretty exciting. Also, too, I love this post. I found this guy. He says, as a former mortgage banker, let me be very clear. The FHFA just issued a directive for Fannie and Freddie to begin considering crypto as an asset in mortgage risk assessments without converting to USD. Now, previously, if you were holding Bitcoin and you wanted to be considered an asset, you had to cash it out. Could even be in a stable coin. You had to cash it out into fiat, which is really fun. Show it, and who knows, by that time, the flexibility of like a Bitcoin or anything, maybe XRP, when it did the dip, you sold it at 190 and it went back up to 230. So you would have lost that spread. So he goes, this is
plus the taxable event. Plus you got taxed on the gain or loss of that. Well, you didn't get taxed on the loss, but you get taxed on the gain.
We're talking about the two giants,
on the loss.
$7 trillion in housing loans, now prepping to allow digital assets as reserves for single-family loans. You'll soon be able to use your crypto stack as part of your home loan qualifications. No more sell to qualify. No more crypto doesn't count. This opens the floodgates for true adoption, which you said before, Jeff, and marks the beginning of a tokenized housing market backed by the U.S. mortgage system. This isn't speculation. Right. It's not hopium. This is policy, and it's effective immediately. It's a huge thing, dude. I was shocked when I saw this today. I was like, wait, what? After being in this business for a long time, I was shocked to see this.
That they're the first movers, not the SEC, not the CFTC, but mortgage. I mean, this is to open up the floodgate towards tokenization of real estate. That excites me. I think, more than anything else at this point, is being able to tokenize real estate, being able to own fractional shares of real estate that you can easily transfer, right? You can go on these other platforms, you can put your cash asset, and you can own tokenized or shares, fractional shares of real estate, fractional shares of stock, but tokenized shares of real estate, commercial property, something that is then tied within in the crypto space and easily transferable. To me, that changes, that's game changing, because then anybody anywhere in the world can invest in any tokenized asset. Hopefully it allows for that. I'm sure there's some regulatory hurdles to overcome that. But then if you can take that tokenization and you put it into some sort of a crypto asset, and then you have access to that crypto asset, how are they going to stop? How are countries now that are limiting people's investment cross-border, because that is a reality, how are they going to stop that floodgate? It allows wealth to be generated at a pace that is hopefully unstoppable. I think the powers that be, when wealth spreads, rapidly to the masses, they find an event to shut that down. And we've seen that, multiple times over the course of just this last couple decades. We've seen multiple scenarios. I would say since 2000 on its own, we've seen shutdown of mainstream wealth creation. And so is this going to be another methodology, or are we beyond that, Chip? What do you think? Beyond control?
I don't know if I wouldn't say we're beyond control. I wouldn't go there, but JC's right here. Fannie and Freddie are still under conservatorship. That's been 2008. Now, Trump was going to take them out of conservatorship. But it hasn't happened yet. They're holding $250 billion in assets to lend. JWH was saying, so some are saying the crypt needs to be on the DEX on a decentralized exchange in order to be loan qualifying assets. Spoke to Swan BTC, just informed me my personal account in a vault would qualify. So if you got a custodian, a multi-sig that will classify the same as a crypto on a decentralized exchange, we'll see how the FNMA changes evolve. Nothing finalized yet by FHFA, but it's preliminary. So yeah, we'll have to get more details on how that works and how you have to show that, because I'm not sure. It's interesting to know that it has to be on a decentralized exchange, but because if you're holding it in a cold storage type of thing, how do you qualify that? And if you're holding it in cold storage, there's a whole bunch of things that opens up. We'll get more details on that. The bottom line is that it's moving forward, but it's huge. And JWH was saying for him as a self-employed in the real estate biz, it would be allowing me to stack more cash before and get away with just cash. So that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a huge thing right there. So
huge.
Interesting to see how that's going to work. But again, this is why it happened. Trump, do not misunderstand how big a pro-crypto president is. People were downplaying it and legislation. But something like this to happen is just absolutely massive. It's a big deal.
Would definitely not have happened otherwise.
No, there's no chance it would have happened.
Definitely guarantee that.
I saw John Deaton. This was interesting too, just to kind of bring more well, before we get next, I know this is more kind of like political, but it's also important to the messaging. But I wanted to play Chris Larson was on a podcast recently. I don't think the whole podcast dropped, but there's two things he was talking about, and they're really short clips. And I reached out again and made a request to get either Larson and Garlinghouse on here, so we can potentially interview them. So we're going to work through the system again and see if we can do that. Is it the same damn one? Okay, it's not. Here we go. So the first one is he's asking what the biggest accomplishment of Ripple is. So let's listen to this.
Biggest achievement with Ripple so far?
Well, I think that we've earned the trust, of this world of enterprise financial players and payment players, treasury operations. That takes a lot of work. I mean, you kind of look at it, I think we're in a pretty remarkable place in a very, very big industry. It takes a lot of work and consistency to get that position. So I love that we've succeeded in the position that we're in. And I love culture that we have, which is, hats off to Brad for continuing that, really staying pure to the culture. We have just some amazing, dedicated people that are working every single day with the right core values in their heart to make a positive impact on the world. It is not easy to do. It's very, very hard to do. I love where we are right now.
It's a good point, because if you think about a lot of the crypto places to do the enterprise type level work, not only that, but the acquisitions have been really key in that area. What are your thoughts about that, Jeff?
They definitely stacked up some really important acquisitions. They have made some big progress. It's good. Again, I like seeing them come out, as they start reflecting on the direction and growth and things like that. Showing
we got right here
development.
Shout out to my mentor Nate, first time OTC. Well, welcome Nate. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Nate. It's awesome.
Good to have you here, and I appreciate the reference there. Bringing your mentor in here, that's really cool and badass. Only few will survive. I wondered about the zombie apocalypse. I don't think New York's going to do very well. I think it'll be the first city to be knocked down. I really think that New York's in really serious trouble. Here's the second clip right here. What is Ripple? And this is kind of a fun question. Listen to the way he phrases this question, but it's a fun question.
Ripple, if you had to explain it to my mom.
For Ripple, we decided we wanted to be an enterprise-focused company. That's a really important distinction.
Okay, well, Mom's lost already. Mom doesn't know what an enterprise company is. Mom has no
idea.
Excuse me. Excuse me, honey, but what is an enterprise company? He said to my mom, okay? I was like, and he's looking, he's like,
no, I mean, maybe his mom's like the VP of a bank. Maybe she's retired.
Well, I don't know, man. He's got that look. I said my mom.
Right, yeah.
Right, I said mom. Did you hear me say mom?
He did say maybe he missed.
And the reason he was saying that, he should have said my 12-year-old kid, whatever. My
right, yeah, my 80-year-old grandmother,
maybe mom,
90-year-old grandmother.
Blockchain company, we don't know, right?
That's right, exactly.
He knows the mom, and he's like,
"What you do to my mom?"
It's company. That's what we do.
Right, exactly. She knows. She understands.
Let's back it up again.
What is Ripple? If you had to explain it to my mom.
For Ripple, we decided we wanted to be.
Even the way he says it, he's like, my mom. Nobody else's mom. Right, yeah. My mom.
But then we have to assume that Chris Larson knows his mom. Right.
Chris is like, look, I'm just going to give him an explanation. That's so funny. My mom. It's like, oh, your mom. Okay, hang on a second. For all the other moms, your mom runs a massive corporation, the CEO. So I'm going to explain it differently here.
If you had to explain it to my mom.
For Ripple, we decided we wanted to be an enterprise-focused company. That's a really important distinction. It's interesting. My last two companies were all consumer companies. And I kind of learned this, like a lot of people start off, especially young folks, starting consumer companies because that's kind of what they know. What do I see every day? I see this penguin here on the desk. I see this water bottle. You're surrounded by consumer products, by definition. But what you don't realize is it's almost the consumer thing is almost like the surface of the ocean. And then you have this enterprise thing you sort of discover, and it's like everything below though. It's just massive, and not enough people focus on it, especially I think young people. It was a big lesson for me. This is like third company in, and kind of discovered enterprise, and was like, I like that. And I would use the example of what happened with Elon. We started off with a new technology, had to show all the things going on with finance transparently, your credit score, for example, rates. All the early stuff was coding and the website, and the technology team was the guts of the company. And then as you sort of go forward, you become more a marketer, consumers. And then you got to have this army of customer support folks for all these consumers. And then you turn around one day with Elon, it was like, oh, 5% of our company is technology and everybody else is dealing with consumers, which, by the way, is exactly what traditional banks are doing. So you start replicating all the stuff that already is out there, and you're doing less and less about what's new. What I like about enterprise is like, it's actually the polar opposite. You're serving these banks, financial institutions, anybody trying to move money, payments, that they've already built all that other stuff. And now they're interested in this new kryptonite thing that they want to put into their engine. So we can focus on that kryptonite thing and give that to them without replicating all the stuff that they already have. I like that.
Dude, I don't understand what he just said. I have
Dude,
no idea what he's talking about.
I
got lost after enterprise is great. And then after that, I don't know what he's talking about.
He's talking about,
what is kryptonite?
Kryptonite is like, it's like, that's like to kill Superman, dude. That's like,
Superman,
like, what are you talking about kryptonite? How we segue into
we talking about kryptonite? Can we go back?
I'm kind of like you, like my eyes rolled in the back of my head at some point. And I was like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. It sounded like, you know, the teachers on the old Charlie Brown. I was like, I don't know what he's saying.
But now I'm thinking maybe his mom is like a cartoonist or something. And maybe she's like,
maybe she worked for DC, worked for the Superman character. I don't know what he's talking. I don't really understand.
I don't know how we got into
rewound it a little bit. This is why we don't get interviews, Jeff. This is why exactly. That's why he gets to use. You guys have to work on your game. That's probably
that's exactly right.
They'll watch this and be like, no interviews for you. Like no soup for you
guys. That's it.
Let's listen again. Let's see if we can follow along. Maybe someone can explain it to us in the comments. Here we go.
What I like about enterprise is like, it's actually the polar opposite. You're serving these banks, financial institutions, anybody trying to move money, payments, that they've already built all that other stuff. And now they're interested in this new kryptonite thing that they want to put into their engine. So we can focus on that kryptonite thing and give that to them without replicating all the stuff that they already have. I like that. I kind of see it as like, you can actually have more impact, reach more people with the new thing with that model. And I think you also get more defensible walls up because it takes a long time building trust to get in those organizations because they don't want to risk their own brand versus just going right off the bat and building your new brand. Anyway.
I'm lost.
Anyway, dude, I don't know what he's talking about kryptonite.
I'm still lost. I'm still lost with building your own brand. I don't know why I got lost on that. I get retail versus enterprise. I mean, it's cool. I dig in going through this explanation of kryptonite and all this other stuff. But I got lost. I don't know.
By the way, mom's thinking stuff right there. Mom's thinking
exactly.
Dilithium crystals. So we have no dilithium crystals. We're done. You know, dude is mixing concepts. I was like, listen, man. They want to put kryptonite. No, I think he meant crypto. And he doesn't call him. He's like, help me understand the kryptonite piece. That's like if you were trying to kill Superman, you might kryptonite. If you're Lex Luthor, you might want to put some kryptonite inside. I mean, what's he talking about, Jeff?
I don't know.
This is why no one takes us serious, Jeff, because we laugh at everything. It's just horrible.
You need to hear the first 45 seconds where he talks about building two consumer-based. I get that part. So you can build two consumer-based payment systems. I know.
I work in B2B. I mean, I've been in B2B. I understand B2B and enterprise. I'm an enterprise sales guy. I understand it.
I just got lost in the way he explained it. I think what I would have said is enterprise is focused on business, and I'm helping businesses that sell products to consumers. But my product helps the business do what they got to do to sell to the consumer. Before, I had a company that sold to the consumer. What's a consumer? You're a consumer, right? If you owned a huge corporate business, I'd be working with you, and your market is the consumer business. Or maybe your market's also enterprise, and I'm selling to you as enterprise.
JC, I'm not going to put
this big business.
I'm not going to put that comment of JC's on screen. He doesn't know, but he's right. He's 100%, 150% correct. And I think and we've been very critical of that. Okay. When you're the guy who paid for cameras to go up in San Francisco, but he's not a good look. When you're the guy that paid for, started a company for, or initiatives for, I'm not going to get into it. Let's not, Jeff. We're under screen.
You think, but if you think about Chris Larson's company, one of his big companies was Prosper, and Prosper, that's a great, it was a
Prosper
great
e-loans. He had great companies that were the consumer.
I loved Prosper. I invested a lot into Prosper. It was a lot of fun investing in Prosper, and so you're investing in other people basically. You're lending money to people. It was great. It was such a great platform until we started this, but interesting.
Marsha says, I don't think Chris want to be on the crypto night thing. Kryptonite. Maybe you're saying crypto night. Maybe that's what it was, not kryptonite. Crypto night.
He's putting this crypto night thing into it. What does that mean?
Okay, kryptonite. Kryptonite is like, I was like, how do we get in the Superman conversation? He must have just caught that new Superman movie. He's thinking about kryptonite. Or he meant crypto in. He just misspoke. I'm pretty sure he misspoke, and that's all right. You give him a pass once in a while.
Was he thinking?
Was
he thinking about Superman?
I don't know. That's what are you talking about, dude? Kryptonite.
Yeah.
That was a wild thing.
On that note, I've got a special video for you. This video popped up in my feed today, so I've got to play it. Hang on.
What you got?
Simmer down now. Hang on. Here we go. People haven't seen this one. I just love it.
Oh shit! It's an old one, Jeff.
This is an old one. I know.
This is when I first started posting videos. Remember that?
Oh, I love this. I can't even tell you how many times.
He's about to embarrass me now. Thanks a lot, dude. This is like early days. It's like 6 or 7 years.
I tell you, I used to watch these videos and I was just like, man, I would listen until we got together and did that thing. I would listen to your videos all the time. I'm like, I got to meet this guy.
To do the stupid videos, man. That's true.
You do like a 3-minute video.
3-minute video take me 15 tries to get it right. It was supposed to be the XRP minute. It turned in, how long is that? See, it is a minute long. That's unusual.
This one's a minute. Yeah, this one's
that might be the only one that was a minute. I think everyone's like 3 or 4 minutes.
It was the first one. The first. No, this wasn't the
first one with a squirrel or no?
I don't know. Let's see. Hang on.
Chip here with the XRP Minute. As I was headed outside to take my dog for a walk this morning, something very interesting happened. A little friend stopped by.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Oh yeah, it was a squirrel.
A little squirrel. He was speaking to me, Jeff.
Yeah, he was. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh my god. How great is this?
When moon.
When moon. Dude, this is when Lambo.
Sooner you think. Well, that's soon enough, dude. It was like 6 or 7 years ago. I like the huddle straw.
So that's our little friend, BS123 or Bullable Squirrel 123.
Bullable.
We can all sort of decode his message. Is he spot on? I don't know. But what I do know is that's my take. What's yours? Chip? Oh!
There it is.
I love it.
The XRP minute, dude. The XRP minute. Jeez. Holy cow. What was the year on that? When was that? Exactly? When was that, by the way? Does it say how many years? It says probably how many years ago. Jeez. Yeah, now my hair's past my shoulders. That was when I had super short hair.
6 years ago.
Is it PowerPoint? No.
That was awesome.
Christopher Clark liked these. Like, that was awesome. Shit, definitely OG. I was an OG back in the space. Yeah, I was doing some stuff. And that's how we ended up meeting. Like, I was doing the XRP minute. Jeff was you were doing the HODL report, right?
HODL report, yeah.
We came together and started on the chain, and it's way more fun doing this than
it's so much more fun.
About stupid shit that because when you're sitting there recording videos by yourself, my God, it's so ridiculous. Or you're sitting there doing a video and you're like, hey, I'm doing a video. Look at this and look at that. It's just so much more fun conversing and then doing it live and having the interaction. And, we go down a rabbit hole with a squirrel and we go chase this for 20 minutes. That's what's fun about doing this show for us. I don't know, but that's my take. What I do know, that was one of my little catchphrases. Man, oh man, oh man. That's funny, Jeff. You called that. What did it say? How many years ago?
Just said 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Good Lord. 2019-ish?
2019, yeah.
Holy cow.
2019, yeah.
Wow. That's fun, man. It's a long time ago.
Awesome. It was definitely a long time ago. And we're at the bottom of the hour, so we got a special song for you tonight.
Time to play it, man. Let it rip. Let it
How How many Yetis do
We've
we
got 12 Yetis in there. We need people to type in Yeti, YETI, if you want a chance to win a awesome Badass Yeti NFT. Roll it, Jeff.
The White Tribe. Here we go.
Wait. Oh, geez.
What?
Back it up. Back it up.
What happened? What
I
happened?
don't know. I don't know what happened. We lost it.
No,
Yeah,
I got
play
it.
it.
Okay, hang on a second. Oh, no, that's not it. Here we go.
Are you ready to win a badass Yeti from the White Tribe? Of the plants himself. Come on, get ready now. Do you know the word of the day? Come on, shout it with me. Yeti, that's right, Yeti. You know it. Get it, mark it, stomp it, and stand our ground. Get your song and wallet ready. We're not fucking around. This ain't no rough pull. This is your legacy. This is your just reward. Claim your badass Yeti. Play or fade into the unknown. Badass Yetis on the chain.
Man,
I was head bopping to that, man. That was good.
I like that one. That was good.
Zober said, damn, I'm out of milk for Cookie Monster music. Cookie Monster!
Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster! Look at everybody jumping in here. Yeti, Yeti, Yeti. Got them all coming up here. Dang, Squirrel was right. He said sooner than you think, so maybe I thought it was 15 years, and I'm still waiting. I don't know.
I'm still waiting. Didn't know.
Soon, 16 years was not long enough. My God, holy cow, Jeff.
You didn't know, but soon is right around the corner in decades
Soon,
speak.
it's like soon enough. All right, we're going to move on to
On in decades.
geopolitical portion of the podcast, and I want to show this because yesterday in New York City they had a Democrat primary, and it was this new guy who was a committeeman or something like that, assemblyman. His name was Zohan Mandami, and he was running against the former governor Como. And Como, they hated him as a governor, but anyway, he lost, and this guy Mandavi won, and he is an avowed socialist nut job. Okay, and everybody was cheering in New York because they're some of the dumbest humans on the planet. I hate to say it, maybe even worse in California, but they always vote. So Trump roasted him and said it finally happened. The Democrats have crossed the line. Zohan Mandami, 100% communist lunatic, has just won the Dem primary and is on his way to becoming mayor. We've had radical lefties before, but this is getting a little ridiculous. He looks terrible. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC plus 3 dummies all backing him. Plus, he's even a great Palestinian senator crying Chuck Schumer is groveling over him. Yes, this is a big moment in history for our country. Not a good history moment. But, I mean, holy crap, Jeff! This guy he's really not he's a nut job. So we've got some cool videos to come up, which are kind of fun to watch. But I'm going to throw a couple of these videos up. But what did you think? I mean, you knew he was going to win, correct?
It was almost a given. It's kind of bizarre though. What is going on with New York City? I mean, yeah, they obviously weren't happy with what happened. They had, you think about over the past couple years, you had illegals running rampant in the city, but was that the mayor's fault? Was that the governor's fault? Or was that the previous administration's fault that was letting them come into this country unfettered, yet New York State, or New York City, I should say, was a sanctuary city. So here you go. You want them, you get them. So they were coming in, they were trying to bring them into Florida, they were trying to bring them into Texas. They got shipped into New York. New York had to bear the brunt of it. But it's the residents that live in that city. At the end of the day, it's their fault. They're the ones who elect these people. They're the ones who want the crazy policy. But now we're talking about lunacy. We're not even talking about crazy anymore. How does he win? He's talking about making grocery stores controlled by the local government. There's all these things that he wants to do. He wants to tax the wealthy an additional 1%. He doesn't have that power or capability, but that's his agenda. But they want to take over all the grocery stores. New York City's dirty enough. Soon they're not going to have food. No one's going to stay in that city. If he actually wins. Now, right now we've got Curtis running on the Republican side.
Well, yeah. He's a good dude. Unfortunately, he was the one that started.
I don't see it. Not in New York City.
No, I don't see it.
Yeah, he did great with the Guardian Angels, but I
don't
see him winning. Not gonna happen.
I don't see him winning either. But I kind of almost hope this happens. Anyway, just a couple of these videos. This girl right here has something to say about it.
New York, you were being gaslit about Zoran Mamdani, and I'm going to tell you why. Zoran Mamdani's entire career has been defined by his hostility toward Israel. He has marched with pro-Hamas protesters. He supports BDS.
I think that what we need to do is ask people, will you support BDS? And frankly, not ask them, but demand that you must do this.
He founded SJP on his campus. He considers himself a democratic socialist and aligns himself with the Democratic Socialists of America, who, while October 7th was still happening, condemned Israel and encouraged their followers to join the resistance. He consistently aligns himself with fringe, tokenized Jewish groups that are anti-Israel. And only after widespread outrage at his inability to say that he believes the state of Israel should exist, he's finally started saying, I believe the state of Israel should exist as a country that follows international law, which feels conditional and also feels like his campaign manager told him he needed to get the Jewish vote. Zoran Mamdani compared the word intifada to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
The very word has been used by the Holocaust Museum when translating the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising into Arabic, because it's a word that means struggle.
He was condemned by the United States Holocaust Museum and refused to condemn the phrase globalize the intifada. He says it's about Palestinian resistance. You as a Jew know better, because when you think of the word intifada, you think of this and this. As a Jew, when you hear globalize the intifada, you think of the first and second intifada. These photos are from the second intifada, where over 1,000 Israelis lost their lives in terror attacks like bus bombings. Globalize the intifada is an incitement of violence toward Jews, and you know it. The largest Jewish population outside of Israel is in New York City. The mayor of New York matters. Anti-Semitism is at an all-time high. And you know that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, but Zoran Mamdani doesn't. He has consistently chanted that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism.
Who is ready to say that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism?
But anti-Semitic incidents spiked unbelievably after October 7th. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. An example of this unbelievable gaslighting of Jews is in this opinion piece published by the New York Times today. This author defends Zoran Mamdani's anti-Semitism and then goes on to say that the deadly attacks in DC and Boulder were not anti-Semitic at all, but actually politically motivated. But you as a Jew, you know better. This election matters for the safety of the Jewish community, and Zoran Mamdani may be running for mayor of New York, but Jews everywhere are watching, and we won't be gaslit into forgetting who he is.
What's weird, Jeff, is he can't win New York without the Jewish vote, which means Jews are voting for this nut job, which is crazy given where he's been. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm like,
the Jews in New York are still brainwashed, unfortunately. We see, Florida, the Jewish vote here was heavy Republican. New York, for whatever reason, I mean, New Yorkers in general, it's not just the Jews there, but New Yorkers in general are lefties, and it's kind of bizarre, that New York City has gone so far left, considering everything. They always wanted to be different, but now they're just completely out of control, and, for this, there's more to it, what this guy, is claiming and wants to, if he wants to globalize, intifada, and they want to, change the actual meaning of the word. No one's ever used that as a peaceful uprising or protest. The intifada has been used only only as violence and violent, not even an uprising, but just complete violent attack against Jews and Israelis. That's the only purpose of the Intifada. So for these lefty nut jobs to try to spin words and then try to rationalize it in Arabic when they don't even speak Arabic, they have never studied Arabic.
Correct.
You can question whether or not they've even, tried to study anything that comes out of the Middle East in Arabic. It's just very, very bizarre, when I see this. And but this is just the beginning, and that's where people have to kind of open their eyes. You see one component of it, and then you see the rest of it. Here's the guy again. He wants to take grocery stores and put them under the purview of the government. The guy is a communist. There's nothing good about what he says, and yet he just won. It's just mind-boggling to me. That he won the Democrat vote.
Chad says New York City went the way of Detroit and San Francisco. Get your feces avoidance route. Look, Sober, this is refreshing. I'm not a racist. I hate everyone equally. You see? Right. You see how easy that is, Jim? Jim D says, and I want you to comment on this, Jeff, anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. You agree with that statement, or do you disagree with that?
I don't agree with it. I don't think people really understand what Zionism is. Zionism is the support of the right of Jews to go to Israel and the right to have a Jewish state in Israel. That's it. That's what a Zionist is. Any other reference that anybody has given it is 100% wrong. There is no other connotation of Zionism other than what people have made up. So there's one word of Zionism. If you translate it, directly, from Hebrew into English as a Zionist, that means someone that's proud of their country. And, and again, Zionism specifically references the right of Jews to have their own state within Israel, which has historically been Israel throughout thousands of years, which has, been Jewish. It's been, in the hands of other rulers over periods of time. But that's just the reference of it, so those statements, people, flip it. It's an incorrect narrative. And so 100%, if you want to be anti-Zionist, then it is another form of anti-Semitism, whether you want to agree with it or not. If you're anti-Zionist, then you are disagreeing with the right of Israel's existence and the right of Jews to have a state in Israel and for Israel to be a Jewish state. That's it. That's what it means. So any other reference, any other connotation that you want to make with it, it's not accurate. It's 100% inaccurate. That's my point.
Well, I think it's right. I mean,
there's nothing else to say about it.
I've had this conflict with a lot of people too, and I've tried to explain it to them. Like, listen, if you're saying if you're saying that the Jews don't have a right to exist, well, I kind of like against, you can stack it any way you want. You can draw a wall and say, well, I'm saying they don't have a right to a state, but I don't have anything against Jews personally, right? I mean, it doesn't really kind of like hold any water there. But Sir John says VPN's a great invention because you can hate everybody and no one knows you hate them from your own country. That's a good point, man. And this the guy Rod Hales has got a Yeti. We only have 15 typed in Yeti. Please type Yeti. We need more in the drawing.
You actually need. And the other thing is, I like Zober is saying, because when you go to Israel, it's the only country in the world. I don't know any other country in the world that this is accurate or true of, where all religions, the three major religions of the world, which would be Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, coexist in one place, and that would be right there in Jerusalem. And to me, that is impressive.
What do you think about that statement?
As an anti-Islamist, yeah, I agree. Yep, and if the meaning of it is very clear, right? An Islamist would be someone that takes is taking violent act on behalf of their religion. So they're going to, claim that they're acting on behalf of expanding religion while they go out and kill Christians, Jews, and any non-believer that doesn't adhere to Islam. And they're actively, and they're all around us, right? We see them marching in the streets of Europe. You see them here in the US. You see them in the Middle East. You see them all over. And that would be a specific good word of or good use of that terminology. which is
Yeah,
good.
Art says he had a Jewish girlfriend in middle school, and she was awesome. So
Yeah.
that's good. Thank you for that, Art. Anyway, so I'm going to put this video on now. This is interesting, Jeff. When I only saw the beginning of this,
Radicals. What do you think of this one? Chad is saying radicals in any religion just suck.
no, that's wrong, and I'll tell you why it's wrong. Let me explain why it's wrong. You can take radicals in Judaism, radical Christians, radical Christian sects. I'll tell you what they don't tell you to do is like kill the non-believer. So I almost wonder if anything can qualify as a religion where hate and death is at the core belief of the religion. Is it still a religion, or is it something else? Because there's no sect of some of these other religions that tell you to go kill people. They're all usually based in and around love of some kind of a higher power of some sort. Whether when you look at Buddhism, there's no such thing. It's so anti to think that something outside you would cause you to want to go kill someone who doesn't believe what you believe. Well, that's where I have an issue with it, and that's where I think Sir John was getting at when you say like kill the non-believer, intifada and all this other. This is where it strikes the balance to me. Like I go like, well, I don't know, man. Are we still qualify that as a religion, or is there something that belongs somewhere else? But again, I've had Muslim friends over the years. They don't believe that. They don't conduct themselves that way. And as a matter of fact, they're very, very very different, very family oriented, very personal. They take care of their family, and they're not out to hurt anybody, which again, the radical part of that particular religion is very different from most. Now you could say radical people get, weird and offset, like there's the Jews that wear that thing and they study the Kabbalah. You could say, well, those are radical Jews that are a little bit out there. There might be some other sects of the Christian sect, and maybe some, but I don't necessarily know that there's a lot. So again, it's not, most people are, I'd say 80% are peace loving, and they're cool, but it's these crazy radicals of that particular one that want to kill you, and they want to enact Sharia law. And that's incompatible with Western lifestyle. It isn't. There's nothing about that. We're not going to treat women horribly. We're not going to cover them up. We're not going to not educate. It's really counter to what we believe in Western culture. And we treat women equally. We don't treat women like they're like something you own, like a car. It's just not how it works. And not educated, and can't drive, and can't speak to someone. That's very. You want to talk about radical? It's a little bit crazy. Anyway, here's Mayor Adams.
Chip, the problem with that also is that percentage-wise. So let's say there's 100 million Muslims in the world. They've adhered, that there's probably about 10% adhere to Islam, the Islamist thought process. So let's say 10%, right? That's 10 million people. 10 million. Think about the size of that army. So let's say there were 1 million Muslims in the US, and if 10% of them adhere to that thought process, that's 100,000 people. 100,000 who are willing to sacrifice their lives in the name of their religion, and will actively go out and preach that, and are trying to. And it's interesting too, because when you look throughout the Middle East and you look at those that control the populace, it's always a smaller percentage, because again, the larger population centers, they just want to coexist. They just want to live. They want to, like you said, take care of their families. They want to trade. They want to do business. I ran into that working with companies throughout the Middle East, and it was interesting to me, the conversations that we'd have, and we'd get into these conversations, and even at shows overseas, and I had the opportunity, many times to sit down and talk. And that was the whole thing, is they said, look, for years, these Arab countries have been trading with Israel, as an example, knowing that the products they buy are coming from Israel, and they would always route them someplace else, and they put a different stamp on it. It would go through Cyprus, or it'd go to whatever country, and they would relabel it and bring it back into their country. And they knew where they were coming from. And I remember having that conversation with one group, and I think he was out of Lebanon, and he was telling me, he said, look, what we care about is making money. We're here to do business.
Right.
We don't care about the politics. We care about our families. And he said, that's the majority of the population, you know? And I remember having similar types of conversations in other countries, you know, when I traveled, and it was always that same type of feeling. You know, sometimes you could run into some, you know, slight animosity, but for the most part, I would say the vast majority of everybody that I've ever met and talked to, business or, you know, going into like a personal conversation like that, it's always the same. It's always been the same. People want the same thing. And that's why you and I, when we talk about the importance of DeFi and decentralization and all of that, the majority of people around the world, they want freedom to do what they want to be able to do. They want freedom to invest. They want freedom of earning. They want freedom to build their business. They want freedom to succeed. You know, and unfortunately, some of these governments withhold those freedoms from them. That doesn't mean everyone should come here. That just means we need to help them, you know, lift themselves up by their bootstraps and do what's great for their country. You know, let that majority overrule the minority that controls them, you know, and let them have the freedoms in their countries. And that's what's important. And there you go. I like that too. Look at that. Let's do business. Somehow you got muted. You muted yourself. Chip is muted.
I had to mute myself
again.
Often. But this is Adams. This is Mayor Adams, the current mayor of New York. He's starting to sound, I wouldn't say normal, but he's starting to sound by definition, his other nut job. He's starting to sound practical, I should say. But let's listen to this, because he's going to be asked about Mandavi, what he thinks about it.
It's not just defund the police. This candidate, Democratic Socialist, he wants to freeze the rent. He wants city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace the police, because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion of debt fund for affordable housing. He wants free buses, no cost for childcare, baby baskets for newborn, and a $30 minimum wage. How can someone vote for this?
He's a snake oil salesman. He will say and do anything to get elected. Think about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New Yorkers' high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman. He doesn't understand the power of government and how you must making sure you improve your economy, raise the standard of living, and this is what we've done in the city. And I'm looking forward to being on the campaign trail and showing New Yorkers we can't go backwards. And New Yorkers never surrender or quit. I'm never going to quit for the city that I love.
That is so interesting. You're in the position, so you know you don't have the authority to do that. Yet he's running on all these promises he's not going to be able to fulfill. And
yeah, I mean, this is... And so I was like, okay, well, he's making some good sense there. Like, why don't you do it now? And again, it's just a typical politician, lie, cheat, and steal. Here's Tom Homan. Tom Homan is asked a question about this Mandavi guy. You'll love this.
Candidate. He hasn't won yet, but he won the Democratic primary, Zorain Mamdani. So he's saying, I mean, this is incredible. He's vowed to kick the, quote, fascist ICE out of New York City, okay? So how do you intend to deal with that? Because I would guess there are going to be a lot of criminals and Iranian cells and whatnot in New York City. The job's not done there. What do you say to this guy?
Good luck with that. Federal law trumps him every day, every hour, every minute. We're going to be in New York City. Matter of fact, because it's a sanctuary city, President Trump made it clear a week and a half ago. We're going to double down and triple down on sanctuary cities. If we can't arrest a bad guy in a county jail, one agent arresting one bad guy, they release him in the streets like New York does every day, we got to send a whole team to look for this guy. And not only that, we're going to send additional teams to look for all the people they arrest. We're going to concentrate in sanctuary cities because we know they're releasing public safety threats and national security threats back to the street. So we know we got a problem there. So we don't have that problem in Florida where most sheriffs work for us. So we're going to double up and triple up on New York. And not only are we going to send more agents to the neighborhood, we're going to increase worksite enforcement tenfold. If we can't arrest them in the jail, you're going to force them in the neighborhood, then we'll find them in the neighborhood. If we can't find them in the neighborhood, we'll find them at the worksite. So game on. We're coming.
That's the Tom Homan. Tom Homan's for real. I mean, that guy is like great. This one is fantastic, Jeff. So here's another take on this. Just listen to him from his own mouth.
First of all, I would like to thank all the terrorists who voted for me. I couldn't have done this without you guys. I promise to defund the police so you can keep planning attacks and shit. Also, thank you to all my poor black people who just want to be able to loot and twerk on top of police cars and hit white women in the face for no reason. You can keep doing all that shit. There will be no police. You want to shit on the subway and harass people? Well, you voted for the right guy. Let's make New York a third world.
All right. Let's make it a third world. I don't think that's real, Jeff. I think that's pretty much AI. That can't be real.
You don't think that's real? It sounds pretty real.
So want to know something, Jetty? Jeff, when the Yeti joins the ICE team, weird shit starts happening. Here's a Yeti that's joined the ICE force, and he's serious.
If your name is Juanito, Jose, or Jesus, we are bringing you in for questioning. So say adios to abuela and pack your chanclas. It's about to go loco, primo.
This is our 7th home raid today. We got Juan and his primo, also named Juan.
Dios mío, es una invasión de Juanitos. Hey, papitos, who wants some free modelos y dinero?
Gets them every time, boys. We're catching illegals like Pokemon. Gotta detain them all.
Yo, we out here snatching up more Jose's than a Dominican softball league. Say, what's up, Woody?
What's up, gang? Bro, I swear one of y'all smell like hot Goya beans and expired Fabuloso.
Undocumented and thick? That's crazy, because this pipe don't discriminate, mommy. Ya tú sabes.
Ay, Dios mío.
I don't think that's real.
Oh my God.
I used to think that's AI.
It's real.
It might be AI. I don't think that's real, Jeff. I just have this feeling that there's no way.
That's so funny.
There's no way that that's right. There's no way
that's real. Show you what's real. This guy here, KGB. This
I thought it was Bill
guy.
Friedman. He's a KGB dude. Yeah, I've seen this before too.
Yeah. So let me see if I got it in the right spot. But this I thought was interesting because it kind of falls in the narrative.
Leftists who made several visits to USSR, and yet the KGB decided that come revolution or drastic changes in political structure of India, they will have to go.
Why is that?
Because they know too much. Simply because, you see, the useful idiots, the leftists who are idealistically believing in the beauty of Soviet socialist or communist or whatever system, when they get disillusioned, they become the worst enemies. That's why my KGB instructors specifically made a point: never bother with leftists. Forget about these political prostitutes. Aim higher. This was my instruction. Try to get into large circulation, established conservative media. Reach, filthy rich movie makers, intellectuals, so-called academic circles. Cynical, egocentric people who can look into your eyes with angelic expression and tell you a lie. These are the most recruitable people, people who lack moral principles, who are either too greedy or too suffer from self-importance. They feel that they matter a lot. These are the people who KGB wanted very much to recruit.
But to eliminate the others, to execute the others, don't they serve some purpose? Wouldn't they be the ones they rely on?
They serve purpose only at the stage of destabilization of a nation. For example, your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by Amin, then Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal.
We get the idea.
Over and over.
The idea, right?
It doesn't change.
Over and over. And they think they know more than everybody else. And they're useful idiots. Every last one of them.
Useless idiots. Yeah, pretty much. This is JD Vance telling a funny story about Trump. This is the condensed version. The full story is good, but this is
And the president looks over at me, puts the foreign leader on mute and says, "This is not going very well," and he presses the red button. And my eyes get really big, and I'm like, "Mr. President, you know, what just happened?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Nuclear." Nuclear. And 2 minutes later, a guy walks in with a Diet Coke, and he looks back at me and he says, "It wasn't nuclear, it's just the Diet Coke button." And that's... So that's the kind of guy, and my fellow Republicans, that we have as the President of the United States.
That's hilarious.
That is funny.
That's right. He has the Diet Coke.
They have this whole. He talks about the whole setup, but it's just too long. And then he presses the button, nuclear. He's like, "What?" The Diet Coke. Okay. Guy's freaking funny, man. This is the press secretary. She's not happy in this clip. This.
Took bits and pieces from a leaked top secret intelligence report, and by the
CNN, by the way, that did this.
way, I understand the FBI is investigating who was the source of that leak, because it's an illegal leak to CNN. And this is the same fake news CNN reporter who wrote the story alleging that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, which we know is one of the greatest political hoaxes this country and the American public have ever seen. And that CNN story does not change the facts. There was a total and complete obliteration of Iran's nuclear facilities, and because of the president's strike, because of the precision of our United States military and this perfectly executed mission, Iran no longer has the capability to produce a nuclear weapon as imminently as they did prior to the strike. The American people and the world should be grateful for that, and it's disgusting that CNN and the New York Times are disparaging not just the president, but our brave men and women who helped conduct this highly successful operation.
Dude, don't mess with her.
USA, USA.
So do not mess with. You know Dan Pena, the guy that always goes off, tells you Bitcoin's going to zero, and he drops the F-bomb everywhere.
Yeah, that guy.
About Trump. Here he is right here talking about Trump.
Oh, I remember.
Disclosure, I knew President Trump 25 years ago. It's 10 times tougher than he comes across on TV, maybe 100 times.
Wow.
I mean, he is a ball-busting, hold you accountable.
Yes.
If you tell him that you're going to be on the moon by next week, you better be on the bloody moon next week. He doesn't take any excuses. He says he's going to punch Putin in the mouth, if you recall. 6 days later, Putin says, "I like that man." What does that tell you, Brian? What does that tell these people listening? Respect gets respect. Instead of all this political horse shit, he's going to rock the planet. He's going to change it. When anybody's love, everybody loves me. I don't give a fuck if these pea-heads watching this thing like me. If you're in a foxhole, who do you want in the fucking foxhole with you, Brian? You want some mealy-mouthed cunt, politically correct asshole? Or you want somebody that's gonna rip their head off and shit down their neck? Trump's that kind of guy.
Damn, son. Yeah, you're never gonna be like, you're always gonna get the language from him. That was less F-bombs than he usually drops, which I thought was a pretty decent clip to play here. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
You know. Yeah, Sir John says, imagine the venomous rain from the cloud in which Hillary's data is stored in. Yeesh, oh my God.
Right.
Mega, Mega, and Mega. Make Iran great again. Mega. That was funny when he posted that out there. Hard C. Yeah, that was a oof. He let it rip, Jeff. I mean, he let it go. I mean, man, he went there. What are you gonna do?
That was great.
But that was, you know, I mean, that's pretty mild for him, quite honestly.
Yeah. I haven't heard him in a long time. And I think Brian was interviewing him then too. But he hasn't popped up as much as he used to.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So why don't we do this? We've got 20 of them. It's time to give this puppy away.
Oh,
so we got time here. So let's go ahead and get that music ready, Jeff.
Now let me play the whole song again because it's such a kick-ass song. Got to play that one and then we'll roll. Let's do this. There we go.
Get your milk, Zober.
Are you ready to win a badass Yeti from the White Tribe?
The depth of the vocal is insane.
It was good. It was solid, dude. Especially that because that little acoustic part.
Yeah.
She says effing around. I was like, that was full blast, man. Here we go. Here's the Yeti.
What do we got now?
21. I thought Jim D snuck in at the last second there with the Yeti. So he's in the contest.
One.
Osmond says that's the best one so far. So that's good. High props, man.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
High props, guys. Go ahead and put the Badass Yeti tune on, Jeff. And I will go ahead and hit the button. And we will be off. We will be off. Get your Zaman wallet ready. And we need to know. Here. Go. Let's go. Who's it going to be? Who's the winner today on the chain? Who is it going to be, people? Who? Charles again. Holy cow. My goodness. Has he won this one? Check the date. Holy cow, Charles, what's up, dude? I mean,
Charles wins all the time.
Well, hang on a second. We have one winner per month. If he hasn't won this month, it's all game on, man. Gotta check. Charles, when did you win last time? We'll have to look.
I'm looking.
The month rule, let's say in the month rule.
Wow.
The month, but I don't know if he won this month. I think he won in May. I'm not sure if he won. We got to see.
It's been a while. No, it's been a while, but I have to look at the.
We have to look.
Doing an audit.
He's saying it's Tomo rigged. Tomorello. Tomorello's rigged. Tomo rigged.
Tomo rigged.
He's
I think
guy.
He's the one behind the software potentially.
I'd be buying lottery tickets. I'd be playing. I'd be doing everything, man. I'd be playing. I'd be going to bingo, cleaning up the ladies, man. I would be doing everything in my power to be winning, man.
Let's see. Let me look up Charles
It is
here.
that for sure.
How come my control F didn't work? There we go.
No. I'm trying to look. We had to look when the best win is.
None. Wait, I have no Charles winning a white tribe at all.
No. Did he win month rule? Did he win in June?
Oh, in June.
Didn't win in June. Then he's golden.
I got to open up the.
You got the month
also. Then
he hasn't won in some time. I think May was the last time he won. No, Charles, if you haven't won, it's yours. I mean, you can multiple times. It's just that we want to make sure that you didn't win this month. I hate to it's like you say, oh, redraw. It's like, no, man, if you won,
winner. Hang on.
Winter. We're checking. Do we already talk about the real estate loan dealio? We did.
The last time Charles won was May 17th.
Dude, he's in. That's over a month ago. It was in the month of June. Get your wallet, Charles, and give it to us.
We've had a lot of people win in between. Charles has never won a Badass Yeti of the White Tribe.
Keep it Charles rules. Rules, nah, we ain't redrawn. Huzzah. Charles is from the FBI for sure.
I think he's from StreamYard.
You work for StreamYard platform we work on because, man.
That'll be the next one. If you work for the StreamYard platform.
I'm going to look him up on LinkedIn. Oh, look at that. He works for StreamYard. He's doing a little razzmatazz behind the scene. Dude, we press we press a button and it goes. Charles, please play the lottery, bro. I'd be playing everything. You got this winning streak going on, dude. Come on, Chuck.
No. Did he share his
We need your wallet there, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, you won again. You know you won again. Said in Vito Corleone's voice, you won again. Charles, you won again.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I would never believe it.
Converts. Yeah, man, dude. Look, it's if you win, you win. That's it.
Winner, chicken.
Winner, chicken dinner. Charles, we need your wallet, dude. We need your wallet. Get your Zaman wallet ready. We have that video so you can have it ready. You copy it and you paste it in. Have we seen?
Nobody.
Isn't it
Somebody
funny?
already pasted it.
On Eddie Yetis, we have 0 Yetis in our personal wallets. 0. We own 0 Yetis.
We left them all in the.
Yeah, we didn't take any of them.
No, we're giving them away.
We get an elder.
It's fun.
Those.
We had a bunch. Now it's fun giving them away.
On the go on the YouTube channel, Jeff, and grab it because it doesn't show up here. It thinks it's spam and it just doesn't even show. So stupid.
No, we have more.
And I think your handle too. So I think we do have your handle.
Got it.
Man, well, congrats to you, dude. The winningest guy that I know. Fantastic. I wish I was that winning kind of had a winning streak like that.
It's amazing. It's doing great.
Yeah, for sure. The Babylon Bee, Jeff never misses. And look at this right here.
25 of 25. How great is that?
Mandani vows to knock down the World Trade Center to build more affordable housing.
Hey, it sounds like the guy in Venezuela.
It's too much, dude.
What about, does Charles have an X? That's what I'm looking for.
He does. We texted him like 15 times already. He's won like 20 times.
No, I don't think we have it.
We do have it. Hang on a second. I'll get it for you. I have it.
In the thing.
Find it and then I'll show it. We have it. Let's see. Charles. There it is right there. It's 7.
What?
It's Grunge 777, dude.
Oh yeah, I recognize that one.
Of course you do.
How do you spell it?
Grunge. I'll stick it in the here, I'll put it in our personal. Where's the private chat? Yeah, the private chat. I just dropped it in there.
Grunge 777.
You can copy and paste it.
Sweet.
There it is. And if we search for that.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Let's see.
Charles, 69,000 posts. Man, crazy.
How many?
69,000.
Oh, dude. It's not 69,000 posts. I don't even see that. Where are you looking, dude? Oh, 69. Holy shit, it is 69,000 posts.
69,000.
Holy shit, dude.
Man,
I didn't even
that's impressive.
Many.
Huh.
That is impressive as hell, dude. I don't think I have that many. Let me look at my how many do I have? Shit, I don't even know. I only have 41,000. Holy cow, Jeff. I only have 41,000. That's a lot. 70,000, dude. But I have other accounts too, and I got about 30 or 40 on the other one. So back when Twitter was Twitter and I never posted anything political, I only did that on my secret account, my secret private account that nobody knows. It's me. And every once in a while I do throw comments that I don't want to be traced back to me, and I will throw comments in there. So it does happen from time to time. Time to time, people. I'm almost at 20,000 followers. Almost. Not quite. Not quite, Jeff. Not quite. Not quite. Getting there, though. All right, we'll do that. I'm going to put this dude... no, that's too long of a video. Can't do that. But anyway, that's all we have, guys. Charles doesn't have a joke. You don't know that. No, because in our comments here, it doesn't always come up. Don't you see it? That's the problem. It doesn't show up because it thinks it's spam, so it won't display it here.
Mm-hmm.
The Zerjan says the Yeti drawing is legit as a Serbian state lottery. Always by chance, the members of the president's family get big prizes. Well, hey now, Charles is a good dude. Don't be hating on Charles. He's a key bastard. Don't you dare mess with Charles. Yeah, well, when he's not on the OTC board or anything. Right. Don't tell him you're on the whatever you do. Don't tell him you're on the OTC board. He'll start to seem suspicious if you say that.
That's funny.
Thanks for the show. Appreciate it, Christopher Clark. Thank you, man. Thanks, guys. That's it. That's all the time we have, guys. We're getting out of here. It's already been sent, right, Jeff? All right.
You've been.
Yeah.
Oh no, shit! I was too busy. Adding to the X post, and I forgot to send it to him. What are we doing? Hang on.
What are you doing? I mean, shit.
I'm over here on X, sending it.
What are you doing?
Hang on. Let me.
I have to play this.
Doing all
My
right.
screen. I forgot to share my screen. Hang on.
I'm doing okay.
This security guard helped prevent a shooting in Detroit when a guy started shooting at a church.
I'm sure it's going to take some time to hit me and settle in, but I'm doing okay. I got some sleep last night, and I'm doing all right. Still processing.
Sure. Walk me through, man, your vantage point when this all went down and the process to, you know, closing that OODA loop and you realize, oh, this is what is in fact happening.
Standing in the hallway between our sanctuary and cry room, heard a noise, thought it was mechanical at first, turned to see people running. Asked them through a door what had happened. I thought it was in the cry room, and a young woman said AR-15. And I said, where? She pointed, and I headed in that direction out into the lobby. Got into the lobby, realized there was a commotion outside the front lobby doors. Got close, started evaluating the situation, trying to make sense of a person on the ground, a pickup truck there, looked like it had some damage, had heard several bursts of, sounded like automatic rifle fire. Stepped out the door, evaluated the situation somewhat, realized who the pickup belonged to, that it was somebody from our church, and then realized that the threat was still a threat. Retreated. He fired some more into our building. By the grace of God, he missed me. He hit another person in the calf. And after that, I engaged him and took care of the threat to the church. So, and then stood back, cleared the scene, or cleared him from any weapons that he could not proceed to hurt anybody else, as he was still moving some.
Took out the threat, man.
Yep, that's it.
Important. He could have executed a lot of people, man.
That would have been horrible. On that solemn note, I'm glad. I mean, solemn and good. I mean, there you go. You got heroes willing to step up, do what they got to do, which is really great to see. Protecting us, our people.
Got a badass Yeti, man. That's badass right there.
This is a badass Yeti of the
Jeff.
Tempest clan right here. Look
you
at
go.
this badass guy right here.
Look at
This
that.
guy,
Gee.
man. Look at the detail. This is what Charles. Look at you. Zoom in, man. You can go to the. Look at that. Look at that fur. See the
He's
eyes?
angry, dude.
He's definitely a
Not
bit
happy.
angry. He's got his scrolls here. Kind of
Not
weapon
happy, dude.
he's got. No.
Lightsaber turns on.
Yeah. Look at his
Switch,
belt.
I don't know.
Look at the detail on the leather. See kind of where the hole punch are?
Damn.
Right down to his claws. Look at that, man. He'd get kicked by one of those claws. You're not getting back up.
Charles is building an army, man. An army of Yetis.
And when it's ready, it's ready. Oh, that's not his. That's the link. Go back over here.
Jeez, dude. What are you thinking,
What's
man?
going on?
What are you thinking, son?
All right, here we go. Get ready to transfer this bad boy over. Got the QR code. Let me find. Got to open my Zaman wallet here. Getting the Zaman wallet ready. Boom. Look at that. Here we go. And it's on its way right now. There you go. It's verifying and it's submitted successfully. Charles is now the proud owner of this Tempest. He's kick-ass, badass Tempest of the White Clan, of the White Tribe.
Nice.
And that's it. Look at it one more time. There he is. Number 180. So there you go. Number one.
Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Mean. All right. That's it, guys. We definitely have to get out of here. We'll see you guys on Saturday. Right? You'll be here Saturday, Jeff? Saturday is fun day. We'll be here. We'll be doing everything. So that's all we have. We'll see you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff. Ow. Take care, guys.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.